I'm going to show you how to make a Excel graph out of a DustTrak data file. So this is the data file that the DustTrak generates in Excel. I'm using Excel 2007. In this sample, the time starts at 2 p.m. on this date, and it ran for 8 hours, and the interval is 1 minute. I cut this test down a little bit to simplify highlighting some of the data points, so it's a little bit shorter. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to column B and click on B, highlight the whole column, and then I'm going to right click on it and click Insert, and then I'm going to right click again and hit Insert. Next up is the time, so it's the elapsed time in seconds, and this says 60. That means it's 60 seconds since the test started, and since up here we saw that the test started at 2 p.m., that means that this first sample was actually taken at 2:01. So I'm going to change the 60 to read 2:01 p.m. On the second cell down, this is 1:20, which means this is really at 2:02 p.m. So I'm going to change that to read 2:02 p.m. Now that I've gotten 2 done, the computer can figure out the pattern that I'm working with. So I'll highlight both of them. Then I'll go to the box down here at the bottom right until my cursor turns into a black plus. Then I'll click and I'll drag it over the top of these times, and the computer will just continue that pattern that I started. Down to the bottom, yours will probably be longer, and I let go, and it switches all those samples to the actual time that the test was taken in. The next thing I'm going to do is make a column for the EPA 24 standard. I'm going to label this column EPA 24 hour, and then down below that is 35. So after I click 35, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put my cursor here till it's a black plus, and then I'm going to drag it down to the bottom of my time sample. And it says 35 all the way down. Next up, I'm going to go to the next column, column C, and I want to change my sample data from milligrams per meter cubed to micrograms per meter cubed. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to click on this first box here, and I'm going to hit the equals key, and then I'm going to click on this sample data right here, and then I'm going to hit times, which is the asterisk, times 1000, and then hit enter. So it changes 0.021 to just 21, moves it 3 places over, and same thing, I'm going to click this and highlight it all the way down. And it changes all these to 3 places over. So that you can label. You could label it in micrograms. So if you want to label it in micrograms per meter cubed, you can go up here to symbol and then pick the micro symbol. You might have to look for it and insert that. And it's micrograms per meter. And if you'd like to do cubed, you can go back up to symbol and then pick the cubed. And you'll have it in micrograms per meter cubed. Next up is to graph all of this. So I'm going to highlight the time and highlight all 3 of these columns. Scroll to the bottom of my data, and I'm going to make a graph, a line graph. So I'm already in the Insert tab. That's where the graph will be found. I'm going to go to Line Graph and pick the first one. You can experiment with different types of graphs. And there's my graph. It has my time already along the bottom, and then it has my micrograms per meter cubed on the side. If you'd like to add a title and change some things that are labeled, you can come up here to Layout, click on the Layout. I'll add a chart title, and I'll put it above the chart, and I'll call this Sample 1. Hit Enter. If you'd like to add an axis title, I'm going to pick the horizontal, and I'm going to show it below, and I'll just call this time, and it puts time down there. I can do the same thing for the vertical side, and I can change the colors. I can change the scaling if I want by right clicking on some of these things, but that gives you the standard graph in the simplest way possible.